Hello, it's day 73 of my 100-day meditation challenge. So I've had such a lazy day today. I'm still in my pajamas. I went out last night with some friends and drank a little bit too much. Woke up early this morning after only 4 hours sleep and thought, "No, I need way more sleep than that." And so I had more hours sleep and it was really nice. And so instead of forcing myself to get up and do what I've done on other days, I decided to embrace a lazy day, and it's been really good. It's been really nice. Um, and so I started my meditation this afternoon, and I was probably about 20 minutes into it when I kind of had the nudge that I had an email to send out. And so I did that. I stopped doing the meditation and I sent that email out. And then went back to the meditation, I've done about another 40 minutes, I think. Yeah, so I've done an hour so far. I'll do more later as well. I just wanted to make this before it goes dark so that there's some natural light to make it. Um, and this is what I realized in my meditation just then. It's being, allowing yourself to just be, to sleep when you need to sleep and to rest when you need to rest. And even though your society or your beliefs of what you should do, even though there's all of these messages and urges to do things, to keep doing, that's really coming from trying to prove your worth, and there is no proof of worth required. Just as newborn babies, they're all worthy. You wouldn't say, well, that baby hasn't done anything, so it's not worthy. And we, as adults, we're all the same. Like, we're the same as that ward of newborn babies. There's no difference there. But we hear these messages. We go to school and then we're taught that we've got to do something to receive love, to receive validation, and for them to say that we're good, instead of just saying that we're good no matter what we do, or even if we don't do anything, if we're just being. And so with all of these messages that we get through life, we start judging ourselves on it and thinking that we need to do in order to feel good about ourselves. And so, how many times have you had a day like this that I've had today, of doing very little? I was sent an email out, but that's about it. and and actually felt good about that. I feel really good about it today. But I know in the past that I haven't. I've judged myself for it. And when I was meditating, in fact, there was a self-judgment that came up, and I used EFT to tap it out straight away, because I recognised that it was a self-judgment that I didn't want in there. So being instead of doing. It's so important. It's so important for us to embrace who we really are and actually live that, not just the concept of it, not just like the knowledge of who we are. It's like, yeah, I'm this spirit now, I've just got to go and work and work and work and do this and do that and do that, to try and prove myself. That's not being. That's not being who you are. It's not having the experience of who you really are. It can be scary to do nothing and to just be, because of all of these beliefs that we have about proving our worth and us not receiving anything if we just be. And that's not to say, that creativity doesn't come. That it does come from that. Inspired creativity comes from that, which is very different than thinking that you need to do something to prove your worth, which is where most of us come from all the time. That's the way most of us live our days. And so to allow yourself to be, you've got to allow yourself to do nothing for a while. And so that's confronting. It's scary. You think, well, how am I going to get my bills paid if I do nothing? But here's the thing. When I stopped working, however many years ago it was, 17 years ago now, the year 2000, or maybe it's 2001, I had a buffer of money behind me, so that made it very easy, right? To take that leap, it made it easy for me to take that leap. But what I noticed was, it didn't matter. It didn't matter what I was doing. Money came anyway. It's like, once I just started doing what I felt like doing, and none of it was work. Like, none of it was work. Even when I started off a business, it wasn't out of a feeling a need to do something. It was because I really wanted to do this thing. It was like, yeah, I wanted to get this equipment and go on this course to learn how to do this thing and then start a business doing it. Not out of a need of doing it. You know, it's like the charity work that I've done too. I wasn't doing that as a job. I was just doing it because that's what I wanted to do. And the whole time I was looked after and got everything that I needed. And what I noticed was, it didn't matter whether I worked or not. I was still receiving everything that I needed. And standing firmly in that place is tricky. It's tricky because the messages are very strong that we need to do. But yeah, my best stuff, the best things that I've done have come out of me not needing to do something, just wanting to do something, or just being, and then in that space being inspired. So you've got to give yourself space to do that. And yeah, that might seem very scary to you to do that. You know, if you were to imagine maybe giving up your job, or you know, stopping doing what it is that you're doing and just sitting and being lazy. Allowing yourself to just be and seeing what comes from that instead. So it's a very different way of acting. It's a different way of approaching doing, let's put it that way. And it comes from space and just being. And it's easier with meditation. It's easier with meditation because you realize that you're not the things that you do. You're not your job, you're not your business. You're not what people think of you, you're not your money, you're not your bank account, you're not your stuff, you're not where you live, you're none of these things. You're not even your body. And so when you have the experience of that in meditation, it gives you the confidence to be yourself, to actually take that beyond your meditation into your day-to-day life. It would be amazing if it could wave a wand and give this gift to people, the knowledge of that, but not just the knowledge of that, the experience of that, and so that they'd have the courage to do it themselves, or to be it themselves. But no, you've got to do it yourself. You've got to find it from within. And to even find it from within, you've got to decide that that's what you want to do. You want to get to who you really are, and you get that through meditation. I don't know any other way of doing it. Like, I've been working on a new course that I want to put out to help people. And when I was thinking about the processes that I've been through, and putting steps together, it always starts with meditation. It always, like, there's no other way of doing it. And I've talked to other people about it as well, other spiritual teachers or other teachers of things. It's like, you know, do you know of any other way of getting to this place? And it's apart from meditation. And no, it's not possible. Meditation's the only way to get there. And that to me triggers my ego. I'm like, no, it can't be the only way. You know, it's like when people say, like, the only way is through Jesus and things like that. That annoys me so much, because there's many ways, there's many paths. But what I've experienced is, at the basic level of who you are, there aren't lots of paths. You might call it something different, you know. You might call it prayer, or you might call it yoga, or you might call it meditation. But it's having that spiritual practice is the only way to get to yourself and start to be. To have that foundation of experiencing who you really are, letting everything else fall away. That's what gives you the confidence to play. To play with life instead of struggling through life. So that's my thoughts for today. Day 73.